Welcome to Bills Nation Daily, your ultimate daily dose of everything Buffalo Bills. Hit that subscribe button and join the most passionate Bills fans as we break down all the latest news, highlights, and game analysis. Go Bills! TRE'DAVIOUS White, long celebrated as one of the cornerbacks who defined the Buffalo Bills' defensive identity over the past several seasons, is reportedly stepping away from the team, sending shockwaves through fans, analysts, and even casual NFL followers who had come to associate his presence with resilience and elite performance. Sources suggest that the decision was influenced by a mixture of strategic shifts within the organization, salary cap considerations, and White's own desire to explore opportunities that may better align with his career ambitions, personal goals, and long-term security in the league. It is not uncommon in the NFL for even the most talented and committed players to find themselves at a crossroads when franchises adjust priorities, roster construction, and financial planning. But the timing of this announcement is particularly striking, coming shortly after a period where White demonstrated exceptional skill, leadership, and consistency, elevating the Bills' defensive backfield to one of the most respected units in professional football. Fans have taken to social media to express a mixture of disbelief, admiration, and concern, recognizing that losing a player of White's caliber could alter the dynamics of both the team's defensive strategy and its overall identity, a narrative that has long been intertwined with his name. The rumor mills are buzzing with speculation about which teams might emerge as contenders to acquire White, with some analysts suggesting potential fits based on defensive schemes, coaching philosophy, and current roster gaps, while others focus on the financial implications and potential trade negotiations that could reshape the market for elite cornerbacks in this offseason. Observers emphasize that White's reputation as a lockdown corner who can neutralize top-tier receivers has been a cornerstone of the Bills' defensive success, making this potential departure a headline-grabbing moment not only for Buffalo but for the league as a whole, as teams are likely to evaluate how to leverage his skill set to their advantage, sparking debates, mock trades, and strategic discussions across sports media. Insider chatter indicates that negotiations, conversations, and preliminary discussions have been ongoing behind closed doors for weeks, suggesting that while the announcement is dramatic, it may have been anticipated by those closely monitoring the inner workings of the Bills' front office and the broader landscape of player movement in the NFL, highlighting the complex interplay between performance, loyalty, and business decisions that define modern professional sports. This unfolding story is certain to dominate headlines, generate heated discussions among fans, and ignite a new wave of analysis, focusing on both the short-term consequences for the Bills and the broader implications for cornerbacks and defensive schemes league-wide. Speculation regarding White's next destination has already taken on a life of its own, fueled by insiders hinting at multiple teams that could benefit from his presence, ranging from perennial playoff contenders seeking an immediate boost to underperforming defenses looking for a transformative talent capable of altering their trajectory. Analysts are debating how White's skill set, experience, and leadership might integrate with various defensive schemes, particularly those that emphasize press coverage, zone flexibility, or hybrid safety corner roles that maximize a player's versatility and strategic impact. Social media platforms are flooded with fan reactions, mock trade scenarios, and even humorous memes reflecting the shock and surprise of a departure that seemed unlikely only months ago when White was still performing at an elite level, shutting down some of the league's most dangerous receivers and consistently ranking among the top cornerbacks statistically and qualitatively. Pundits are dissecting his career trajectory, noting how he has been a model of consistency, resilience, and professional excellence, and now how his exit could signal not only a shift for the Bills, but also for the entire perception of free agency dynamics for top-tier defensive backs. Rumors hint that internal discussions may have revolved around the team's strategic vision, salary cap flexibility, and the challenge of balancing veteran talent with emerging prospects, illustrating the delicate calculus that front offices must navigate when managing contracts, player expectations, and competitive ambitions. White's potential departure also prompts questions about leadership within a locker room, mentorship roles for younger players, and the psychological impact on teammates who have relied on his presence, communication, and on-field intelligence to anchor a defense that has been a defining feature of Buffalo's identity in recent seasons. Analysts suggest that while the news is shocking, it is not without precedent, as the NFL has a long history of superstar players parting ways with teams due to financial, strategic, or personal considerations, and these moves often ripple throughout the league, influencing how other franchises approach contract negotiations, positional priorities, and competitive positioning. Sports commentators are weighing the implications for Buffalo's upcoming season, discussing potential replacements, adjustments to defensive schemes, and the challenge of filling a void left by a player who has consistently demonstrated elite performance, adaptability, and situational awareness that few cornerbacks match. Meanwhile, whispers of other teams actively courting White, evaluating fit, and projecting his impact highlight the intrigue and high-stakes maneuvering typical of NFL rumor cycles, underscoring the delicate balance between speculation and insider knowledge in shaping narratives that dominate both mainstream sports coverage and fan discussions online. Speculation surrounding White's next move has reached a level where even casual observers are attempting to project which franchises might be in the running, considering defensive schemes, coaching philosophies, roster composition, and salary cap room. Rumors indicate that teams prioritizing man-to-man coverage and aggressive secondary play may view White as a transformative addition capable of instantly elevating their defensive profile and altering offensive game plans across the league. Analysts are dissecting tape, noting how White's combination of speed, agility, awareness, and football intelligence allows him to anticipate routes, disrupt timing, and consistently outperform highly skilled receivers, qualities that make him highly sought after in the current market. Insider chatter hints at preliminary negotiations and conversations behind closed doors, suggesting that multiple teams have already engaged with White's representation, evaluating fit, compensation, and long-term prospects, fueling a flurry of rumors that dominate sports talk shows and social media platforms alike. Fans are intensely invested in the narrative, with hashtags, discussion threads, and fan-created content speculating on every possible landing spot and trade scenario, reflecting a culture where player movement is dissected with the same intensity as live game analysis. Some commentators highlight the human element, emphasizing that White's decision may involve personal factors, lifestyle considerations, or aspirations beyond football, reminding the public that professional athletes often navigate complex choices that intertwine career, family, and long-term goals. The tension between loyalty, performance, and business pragmatism is at the heart of this unfolding story, offering a lens through which the NFL's multifaceted nature is revealed, where even celebrated veterans are subject to the strategic calculations of organizations balancing immediate competitiveness with sustainable growth. As speculation intensifies, the narrative has evolved into a multi-layered saga encompassing performance analysis, financial strategy, emotional resonance, and league-wide implications, ensuring that White's next move will be dissected, debated, and celebrated in equal measure across platforms and audiences. NFL insiders are emphasizing that White's departure, while shocking, fits a familiar pattern within the league, where elite talent is regularly evaluated not only for on-field contributions, but also for contract efficiency, long-term sustainability, and alignment with evolving team philosophies. Analysts argue that while White's physical abilities and football IQ are undeniable, the Bills' management may have viewed this moment as an opportunity to recalibrate their defensive blueprint, integrating younger players, reshaping salary commitments, and exploring innovative coverage schemes that could redefine the unit's strategic identity. Fans and commentators alike are weighing the broader consequences, questioning how losing a cornerback of White's caliber will impact Buffalo's ability to compete against high-powered passing attacks, navigate playoff contention, and maintain a consistent defensive identity that has been a hallmark of their recent success. Social media reflects a spectrum of responses, from nostalgia-laden tributes highlighting his career achievements to speculative debates about replacement options, potential trades, and the strategic implications for both the Bills and potential suitors. Rumor sources indicate that White's own aspirations, including the desire for new challenges, championship contention, and perhaps an enhanced leadership role, may have contributed to this unexpected trajectory, illustrating how individual ambition and organizational strategy can converge to precipitate seismic changes within a franchise. Analysts are also exploring how this move could set off a chain reaction in the free agent market, influencing cornerback valuations, contract negotiations, and team-building strategies across the league, demonstrating the interconnected nature of professional football decision-making. Some pundits speculate that White could become a catalyst for defensive resurgence wherever he lands, potentially altering opponent game plans, elevating secondary performance, and redefining team identity, making his potential move one of the most intriguing storylines of the offseason. Meanwhile, fans are preparing for an emotional journey, acknowledging both the loss of a beloved player and the anticipation of seeing how he could transform a new team's defense, reflecting the deep personal investment that supporters place in the careers of standout athletes. The narrative is rich, multifaceted, and continuously evolving, blending performance analysis, strategic speculation, and fan passion into a compelling story that will dominate NFL conversation for weeks. Rumors swirling around White's future have prompted analysts to re-examine the landscape of cornerback talent across the league, assessing how teams might pivot in response to Buffalo's potential roster shakeup. Speculative trade charts, mock drafts, and advanced analytics are being deployed to forecast the potential ripple effects of White's departure, with commentators debating everything from scheme fit to leadership impact and locker room culture. Sources indicate that conversations with multiple franchises are ongoing, with varying levels of confidentiality and strategic posturing, emphasizing how high-profile players often find themselves at the center of a delicate chess match involving agents, general managers, and coaching staffs. Fans are deeply engaged, crafting speculative scenarios, debating optimal destinations, and analyzing comparative statistics, highlighting the intense intersection of sports fandom, media narratives, and real-world organizational strategy. Analysts note that White's skill set, particularly his ability to read quarterbacks, anticipate routes, and disrupt timing, makes him a rare commodity capable of influencing outcomes beyond individual matchups, a factor that significantly heightens both interest and urgency among potential suitors. Insider commentary suggests that the decision may also have been influenced by forward-looking considerations, such as the emergence of younger players, the need for salary cap flexibility, and strategic planning that prioritizes adaptability and depth across the roster. In addition to on-field implications, White's rumored exit carries emotional weight, reflecting a storied tenure in Buffalo and the bonds formed within the locker room, fan base, and broader community, making the narrative both professionally significant and personally resonant. As discussions intensify, media coverage has amplified every nuance, from contract speculation to leadership potential, transforming what might have been a straightforward transaction into a multidimensional storyline, capturing the attention of NFL audiences everywhere. Analysts warn that while speculation abounds, the reality will ultimately depend on negotiations, fit, and timing, underscoring the unpredictable, high-stakes nature of player movement in the modern NFL. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Speculation surrounding White's next destination has ignited a flurry of trade rumors, mock scenarios, and detailed analyses by football insiders who emphasize his rare combination of agility, anticipation, and leadership, qualities that make him highly coveted by both contending and rebuilding teams. Analysts highlight that White's ability to read quarterbacks, anticipate routes, and consistently outperform elite receivers positions him as a transformative figure capable of immediately elevating a secondary, influencing defensive schemes, and reshaping opponent game plans. Insider chatter suggests that multiple franchises are evaluating fit, compensation, and strategic potential, fueling an environment where every rumor is scrutinized, debated, and amplified across social media and sports talk platforms. Fans are deeply engaged, speculating about ideal landing spots, potential trades, and the broader consequences for the league's defensive hierarchy, reflecting the passionate investment and cultural impact that a player of White's stature commands. Some commentators emphasize the personal dimensions, noting that White's decision may involve lifestyle considerations, long-term security, and professional aspirations beyond immediate financial incentives, underscoring the human side of professional sports. The intensity of this narrative, blending tactical analysis, financial speculation, and fan fervor, illustrates the intricate interplay of performance, ambition, and business imperatives that define the NFL. As discussions continue, every potential scenario is examined, from immediate defensive upgrades to long-term strategic positioning, making White's next move a focal point of league-wide intrigue, speculation, and anticipation. Rumors about White's departure have also prompted strategic reassessments across the league, with teams reevaluating cornerback depth, secondary rotations, and coverage schemes in anticipation of a highly coveted free agent acquisition. Analysts emphasize that his combination of speed, instincts, and field awareness allows him to operate as a game-changer, a player whose presence can significantly alter opponent game plans, reinforce defensive consistency, and provide critical leadership in high-pressure situations. Insider sources suggest that conversations are ongoing, with varying degrees of confidentiality, highlighting the tactical maneuvering that defines elite player negotiations in the NFL. Fans and commentators alike are captivated, creating a dynamic mix of analysis, speculation, and emotional engagement that underscores the cultural significance of a high-profile player movement. Pundits note that White's potential exit embodies a broader tension in professional football, balancing performance excellence with financial realities, roster management, and forward-looking strategic planning. Meanwhile, analysts dissect how Buffalo might adapt schemes, integrate emerging talent, and maintain cohesion in the secondary, emphasizing the ripple effects on team identity, confidence, and competitive positioning. Social media reflects a spectrum of reactions, from nostalgic tributes to heated debates about trade feasibility and defensive projections, reinforcing the intense intersection of sports fandom, media narratives, and organizational strategy. Ultimately, the narrative surrounding White exemplifies the unpredictability, high stakes, and multi-layered complexity of modern NFL player movement, where speculation, strategy, and fan passion converge in a compelling, ever-evolving storyline. As White's rumored departure continues to dominate headlines, conversations within the league, media, and fan communities have become increasingly intricate, blending tactical projections, financial considerations, and emotional resonance in ways that elevate the story beyond a simple personnel update. Analysts highlight that his exit could reshape Buffalo's defensive approach, forcing adjustments in coverage schemes, personnel rotations, and leadership dynamics, while simultaneously opening opportunities for younger players to step into more prominent roles and redefine the team's identity on the field. Insider speculation emphasizes that multiple teams are actively evaluating his skill set, leadership qualities, and long-term impact, weighing factors such as scheme compatibility, contract negotiations, and potential influence on locker room culture, creating a landscape ripe with rumor, strategy, and intrigue. Fans are deeply invested, generating discussions, memes, and hypothetical scenarios that explore every possible outcome, reflecting both emotional attachment and analytical curiosity about the ripple effects of this high-profile move. Commentators note that White's combination of elite performance, football IQ, and mentorship capacity makes him an extraordinarily rare asset, one whose departure or acquisition carries league-wide consequences and strategic implications. The narrative illustrates the multifaceted nature of the NFL, where player movement intersects with team-building philosophy, financial constraints, and competitive ambition, creating storylines that captivate audiences, provoke analysis, and sustain engagement across multiple platforms. In this context, White's next step is not merely a transaction. It is a narrative event, a catalyst for discussion, speculation, and anticipation that will shape conversations about the Bills, the league, and the evolving dynamics of professional football for months to come. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.